Jack Martins is. Jack, why don't you come up? Now, you have the floor. You can mop it if you like.
Thank you very much. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me here today. My name is Jack Martins. I am the Republican, Independent, and Conservative candidate for the 7th Senate District. And a little bit about myself. I have been married to my wife, Paula. Last month was our 15th anniversary. Thank you. We have 4 daughters, Caitlin, Vanessa, Emma, and Caroline, 13, 10, 4, and 2 at home. And that's not why I'm running for state senate. I have been privileged to be the mayor of Mineola for the past nearly 8 years. It'll be 8 years in March. I'm in my 4th term, and we've done some pretty neat things in Mineola over the last 8 years. When I took office nearly 8 years ago, the village was $33 million in debt, had a $500,000 operating deficit, and we were in a bad way. The economy out there was doing pretty well. Our own economy in the village was doing pretty poorly. We are now, as I said, nearly 8 years later. That $33 million debt has been paid down to $20 million. We have not added a cent of long-term debt in the village in 8 years. We've been living within our means. The $500,000 operating deficit is now a $3 million surplus. We've had 7 successive balanced budgets and on-time budgets in our village, and we're working on our 8th right now. Our tax increase this year was 0. Last year was 2%, even though we had a state that imposed increases in our pension system, even though we lost revenue from our state mortgage tax, even though we did not have the same building permit fees that we were accustomed to in the past, because obviously in a bad economy, frankly, people aren't building as much as they were in the past. But we were able to absorb those into our budget, and we were able to give a 0% increase. And I say that only because, as we do in our daily lives, as we do in our business lives, we are expected to do more with less in bad economic times. And in our village, we have been able to do that as well. I believe in long-term planning. I believe that you set things in motion, and sometimes, even though you have a 2-year cycle within which you will have to be elected, you have to think long-term, because like everything else we do in life, you can't manage your life year to year in 2-year cycles. Well, the same thing goes for our government. You have to make long-term commitments. When I took office in the village nearly 8 years ago, we made that commitment. We adopted a debt management plan. We made the commitment that we were going to pay down our debt. We made the commitment that we would not borrow and continue to push on debt to future generations. And the results are what I just told you now. I am a lawyer by profession. I am a businessman. My family business is construction. So I know what it's like to have to make ends meet. I know what it's like to have to meet payroll at the end of the week. I know what it's like to have to struggle through a difficult economy. And there is no sector of the economy that has been hurt as much as the construction industry over the last 2 or 3 years. And I can tell you that firsthand. But we are continuing to work. We do continue to employ people. We do get through in this economy. But it is that perspective which I offer you in running for the state senate. You know, one thing that I learned early on, and it really was one of the reasons that I ran for mayor of Mineola back in 2003, and it's one of the reasons I'm running for state senate today. You know, my dad taught me that if you're going to make a difference in this world, or if you're upset about something, well, you better be willing to do something about it. You know, there are a lot of people who will complain about something in this world, but if you're not willing to step up and do something about it, then you're not really contributing, you're not making this place a better place. I mentioned earlier that we have, my wife and I, and she's here with me this evening, you know, we have 4 daughters at home. And when I look at my daughters, I look back to when I was raised and the lessons that I learned from my parents. You know, we were taught to work hard, to achieve as much as we could, and that we would be successful and we would in turn be able to provide for our children. And I believe we're getting to a point today where we're asked to work hard, but the harder we work, that somehow there's a disconnect. The government will penalize us for our hard work and expect us, in turn, to have to commit more and more. I believe in free enterprise. I believe in small government. I believe that the best government is that government which gets out of the way and allows people to reinvest in our communities. It's what we have done in our own village, and it's what I would like to do up in Albany as well. So that's why I'm running. And I'm asking you for your support. And I would be, I don't know if it's appropriate for any questions, but if not, certainly I would invite you all to visit my website. It's at www.martinsforsenate.com. And I would invite you all, if you would, to comment. Send me your questions. I'll be more than happy to reach back to you. I will tell you this. The last 2 years, the last 3 years of government here in New York State has left a lot to be desired. By myself and a great number of people out there who I've walked house to house, knocked on their doors, people I've met at the train station and handed out literature, it's left a lot to be desired. The tax increases, the decisions that have been made that affect our businesses and our ability to provide jobs has really sent us in the wrong direction. And again, please visit the website. We'll be more than happy to respond to any questions you may have. I know this forum is limited because my opponent is not here this evening, but certainly if you'd like to reach out, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Again, I thank you for your time and your patience.